us up to 8 o'clock. Here's a little bit of Little Charlie and the Nightcats. You're tuned to Arrow FM, your local community access radio station. The time now is 8 o'clock, time for another hour of the great music that came out in the 1960s with the 60s Nostalgia Show. The 60s Nostalgia Show is kindly sponsored by Cotter and Stevens, the electrical contractors down in Jellicoe Street in Martinborough. Cotter and Stevens have been in the Wairarapa for a long time, supplying quality workmanship and contracting in the electrical field, whether that be private or commercial, and also dab hands around the old farms in the districts as well, particularly dairy farms, and especially around the old dairy shed where they're experts in things like milk cooling and milk plant, and also a little bit further away from the old shed, the old effluent pond. So Cotter and Stevens are experts in everything, so if you need something done in the electrical field, just give them a ring and they'll be around to sort things out for you. And nothing really planned for the show tonight, so if you would like to hear a particular song, artist or band, you can give me a ring here on 378 0255, 378 0255, and I'll see if I can dig it out for you, and if we get no phone calls, I'll have to do all the requests for myself.
The tears I
Connie Francis here, everybody's somebody's fool, and that was a number one hit in the States for her in 1960. Next up, Gene Pitney and the man who shot Liberty Valance.
When Liberty Valance rode to town, the women folk would hide, they'd hide. When Liberty Valance walked around, the men would step aside, 'cause the point of a gun was the only law that Liberty understood. When it came to shooting straight and fast, he was mighty good. From out of the east a stranger came, a law book in his hand. Oh man, the kind of a man the West would need to tame a troubled land. 'Cause the point of a gun was the only law that Liberty understood. When it came to shooting straight and fast, he was mighty good. Many a man would face his gun, and many a man would fall. The man who shot Liberty Valance, he shot Liberty Valance. He was the bravest of them all. The love of a girl can make a man stay on when he should go. Stay on, just trying to build a peaceful life where love is free to grow. But the point of a gun was the only law that Liberty understood. When the final showdown came at last, a law book was no good. Alone and afraid, she prayed that he'd return that fateful night. Ah, that night, when nothing she said could keep her man from going out to fight. From the moment a girl gets to be full grown, the very first thing she learns, when two men go out to face each other, only one returns. Everyone heard two shots ring out, one shot made Liberty fall. The man who shot Liberty Valance, he shot Liberty Valance. He was the bravest of them all. The man who shot Liberty Valance, he shot Liberty Valance. He was the bravest of them all.
Gene Pitney there, the man who shot Liberty Valance. Gee, that was quick. That was from 1962, a song written by Burt Bacharach and Hal David. And, of course, that was the film, The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance, that starred the great American actor James Stewart. Right, we might go back another couple of years, back to 1960, and here's a song that was written by a guy called J.P. Richardson, and he was better known as the Big Bopper, who was one of the unfortunates that were killed in that plane crash that killed Buddy Holly in 1959 on a tour where the Big Bopper was celebrating his big hit Chantilly Lace. But he'd also written a song called A Running Bear, and a mate of his, Johnny Preston, put it out in 1960 and had a great hit with it.
On the bank of the river stood Running Bear, young Indian brave. On the other side of the river stood his lovely Indian maid. Little white dove was her name, such a lovely sight to see. But their tribes fought with each other, so their love could never be. running bear, love little white dove with a love big as the sky. Running bear, love little white dove with a love that couldn't die. He couldn't swim the raging river, 'cause the river was too wide. He couldn't reach little white dove waiting on the other side. In the moonlight he could see her throwing kisses across the way. Her little heart was beating faster, waiting there for her brave. A running bear, love little white dove with a love big as the sky. Running bear, love little white dove with a love that couldn't die. Running bear dove in the water, little white dove did the same, and they swam out to each other. Through the swirling stream they came. As their hand touched and their lips met, the raging river pulled them down. Now they'll always be together in that happy hunting ground. Running bear, love little white dove with a love big as the sky. Running bear, love little white dove with a love that couldn't die.
one of the classic 60s songs there, The Animals in the House of the Rising Sun. Huge hit for them, and at one stage it had the distinction of being the longest single that hit the top of the charts. It comes in at about 4.5 minutes, when most singles in those days were around 3 minutes, although some of them are actually half that time. But the Animals got around the technical problem of having a long song by lying about the time of the song on the label. Right, here's Jeannie C. Riley and a song all about the Harper Valley PTA.
I want to tell you all a story about a Harper Valley widowed wife who had a teenage daughter who attended Harper Valley Junior High. Well, her daughter came home one afternoon and didn't even stop to play. Said, Mama, got a note here from the Harper Valley PTA. Well, the note said, Mrs. Johnson, you're wearing your dress is way too high. It's reported you've been drinking and running round with men and going wild. And we don't believe you ought to be bringing up your little girl this way. Was signed by the secretary, Harper Valley PTA. Well, it happened that the PTA was gonna meet that very afternoon, and they were sure surprised when Mrs. Johnson wore her mini skirt into the room. And as she walked up to the blackboard, I can still recall the words she had to say. Meeting off the Harper Valley PTA. Well, there's Bobby Taylor sitting there, and 7 times he's asked me for a date. And Mrs. Taylor sure seems to use a lot of ice whenever he's away. And Mr. Baker, can you tell us why your secretary had to leave this town? Shouldn't Widow Jones be told to keep her window shades all pulled completely down? Well, Mr. Harper couldn't be here 'cause he stayed too long at Kelly's bar again. And if you'll smell Shirley Thompson's breath, you'll find she's had a little nip of gin. And then you have the nerve to tell me you think that as a mother I'm not fit. Well, this is just a little Peyton place, and you're all Harper Valley hypocrites. No, I wouldn't put you on because it really did. It happened just this way. The day my mama socked it to the Harper Valley PTA. The day my mama socked it to the Harper Valley PTA.
Jeannie C. Riley there, Harper Valley PTA. Great song written by Tom T. Hall, a singer-songwriter, country singer-songwriter, more prominent probably from the 70s onwards. And he's the guy who had a big hit in the 70s with a great song called Old Dogs, Watermelon, Old Dogs, Children, and Watermelon Wine. Brought the time to 21 minutes after 8 o'clock here on Arrow FM. You're listening to the 60s Nostalgia Show, which is kindly sponsored by Cotter and Stevens, the electrical maestros down in Jellicoe Street in Martinborough. Next up, we've got the Stone Ponies and Different Drum.
You and I traveled sense. With this crying and grieving, we'll both live a lot longer if you live without me. So don't get me wrong, it's not that I knock it, it's just that I'm not in the market for a boy who wants to love only me. Yes, and I ain't saying you ain't pretty. I'm saying I'm not ready for any person, place or thing. Time pulled the reins in on me. So goodbye. I believe and I see no sense. But this crying and grieving will both live a lot longer if you live without me.
He was just a thing you'd like to play with, a little toy for you to pass the day with. Oh, now someone took away your toy, and she will not give him back. What will you do, oh boy? Treats him like a man likes to be treated, not the way you did, you lied and cheated. Oh, now someone took away your toy, and she will not give him back. What will you do, oh boy? You would never ask for anything, you would demand. He was your tin soldier, and you were in command. Now he's gone, you only have yourself to blame. You must find somebody else to play your game. Oh, now someone took away your toy, and she will not give it back. What will you do, oh boy? You would never ask for anything, you would demand. He was your tin soldier, and you were in command. Now he's gone, you only have yourself to blame. You must find somebody else to play your game. Oh, now someone took away your toy, and she will not give it back. What will you do, oh boy?
From 1968 there, The Casuals, a song called Toy, and that was a song written by Chris Andrews, who was the guy who produced most of Sandy Shaw's hits, and think probably produced all of them, and he actually composed most of her hits as well. But strangely enough, one of her big hits, the song that won the Eurovision Song Contest, was not one written by Chris Andrews, but it was performed by Sandy Shaw, and it's one of those songs you either love or you hate.
I wonder if one day that say that you care. If you say you love me madly, I gladly be there like a puppet on a string. Love is just like a merry-go-round with all the fun of the fair. One day I'm feeling down on the ground, then I'm up in the air. Are you leading me on? Tomorrow will you be gone? I wonder if one day that you say that you care. If you say you love me madly, I gladly be there like a puppet on a string. I may win on the roundabout, then I'll lose on the swings. In or out, there is never a doubt just who's pulling the strings. I'm all tied up in you, but where's it leading me to? I wonder if one day that you say that you care. If you say you love me madly, I gladly be there like a puppet on a string. I wonder if one day that you say that you care. If you say you love me madly, I gladly be there like a puppet on a string. Like a puppet on a string.
You're the only woman I need, and baby, you know it. You can make this beggar a king, a clown or a poet. 'Cause I got nothing to hide, just a peace of mind. Bend me, shape me any way you want me, long as you love me, it's alright. Bend me, shape me any way you want me, you got the power to turn on the light. Everybody tells me I'm wrong to want you so badly, but there's a force driving me on, I'll follow it gladly. So let them laugh, I don't care, all I want is you by my side. Bend me, shape me any way you want me, long as you love me, it's alright. Bend me, shape me any way you want me, you got the power to turn on the light. You're the only woman I need, and baby, you know it. You can make this beggar a king, a clown or a poet. 'Cause I got nothing to hide, just a peace of mind. Bend me, shape me any way you want me, long as you love me, it's alright. Bend me, shape me any way you want me, you got the power to turn on the light.
Amen corner there, and Bend Me, Shape Me, big hit for them on one side of the Atlantic, and on the other side, the original version was a big hit for a band called American Breed. brought the time to 27 and a half minutes to 9 o'clock, and time to go way back to 1960. We'll have a track from Emile Ford and the Checkmates, a song called What Do You Want to Make Those Eyes at Me For?
What do you wanna make those eyes at me for? If they don't mean what they say. They make me glad, they make me sad, they make me want a lot of things that I never had. You fooling around with me now. Well, hell, you lead me on and then you run away. Well, that's alright, I'll get you alone tonight. And baby, you'll find you're messing with dynamite. So what do you wanna make those eyes at me for? If they don't mean what they say. What do you wanna make those eyes at me for? If they don't mean what they say. They make me glad, they make me sad, they make me want a lot of things that I never had. You fooling around with me now. Well, you lead me on and then you run away. Well, that's alright, I'll get you alone some night. And baby, you'll find you're messing with dynamite. So what do you wanna make those eyes at me for? If they don't mean what they say. What they say. Yeah.
She would never say where she came from. Yesterday don't matter if it's gone. While the sun is bright or in the darkest night, no one knows. She comes and goes. Tuesday, who could hang a name on you when you change with every new day? Still I'm gonna miss you. Don't question why she needs to be so free. She'll tell you it's the only way to be. She just can't be chained to a life where nothing's gained and nothing's lost at such a cost. Goodbye, Ruby Tuesday. Who could hang a name on you when you change with every new day? Still I'm gonna miss you. There's no time to lose, I heard her say. Catch your dreams before they slip away. Dying all the time, lose your dreams and you will lose your mind. In life unkind. Goodbye, Ruby Tuesday. Who could hang a name on you when you change?
The Rolling Stones there and Ruby Tuesday. Next up, we'll go back to the early 1960s. This is a song that was actually covered in the 70s or the 80s by Manhattan Transfer, but this is the original version by a group called the Ad-Libs and a song called Boy from New York City.
You ought to come and see how he walks.
Martha and the Vandellas there, one of the great classic Motown songs called Dancing in the Street. Brought the time to 16 minutes to 9 o'clock here on Arrow FM, and you're listening to the 60s Nostalgia Show, which is kindly sponsored by Cotter and Stevens, the electrical geniuses down in Martinborough. Right, next up, as the song came out in 1964, a lot of you will recognise this as a song being used on a TV advertisement for KFC at the moment. It's a Chuck Berry song.
Riding along in my automobile, my baby beside me at the wheel. I stole a kiss at the turn of a mile, my curiosity running wild, cruising and playing the radio with no particular place to go. Riding along in my automobile, I was anxious to tell her the way I feel, so I told her softly and sincere, and she leaned and whispered in my ear, cuddling more and driving slow, with no particular place to go. Particular place to go, so we parked way out on the Kokomo. The night was young and the moon was gold, so we both decided to take a stroll. Can you imagine the way I felt? I couldn't unfasten a safety belt, riding along in my calaboose, still trying to get her belt to loose. All the way home I held a grudge for the safety belt that wouldn't budge, cruising and playing the radio with no particular place to go.
A beauty queen, she made a ride that caused a scene in the town. Her long blonde hair hanging down around her knees, all the cats who dig striptease praying for a little breeze. Her long blonde hair falling down across her arms, hiding all the latest charms. Lady Godiva, she found fame and made her name. A Hollywood director came into town and said to her, how'd you like to be a star? You're a girl who could go far, especially dressed the way you are. She smiled at him, gave her pretty head a shake. That was Lady G's mistake. Hey, hey, Lady Godiva, Peter X, Certificate X, and people now are craning their necks to see her. 'Cause she's a star, one that everybody knows. Finished with the striptease shows, now she can't afford her clothes. Her long blonde hair lying on the barber's floor doesn't need it long anymore. Lady Godiva.
Peter and Gordon there from 1966, and Lady MacGyver, and that brought the time to 10 minutes to 9 o'clock. Next up, we have got a song, and I can't quite remember what it is. I think it's Herman's Hermits, and I'm into Something Good. Well, that was a good guess, wasn't it?
Woke up this morning feeling fine. There's something special on my mind. Last night I met a new girl in the neighborhood. Whoa, yeah. Something tells me I'm into something good. Something tells me I'm into something. She's the kind of girl who's not too shy, and I can tell I'm her kind of guy. She danced close to me like I hope she would. She danced with me like I hope she would. Something tells me I'm into something good. Something tells me I'm into something. We only danced for a minute or two, and then she stuck close to me the whole night through. Can I be the one in love? For she's everything I've been dreaming of. She's everything I've been dreaming of. I walked her home and she held my hand. I knew it couldn't be just a one night stand. So I asked to see her next week, and she told me I could. I asked to see her and she told me I could. Something tells me I'm into something good. Something tells me I'm into something. Something tells me I'm into something. I walked her home and she held my hand. I knew it couldn't be just a one night stand. So I asked to see her next week, and she told me I could. I asked to see her and she told me I could. Something tells me I'm into something good. Something tells me I'm into something. Something tells me I'm into something good. Something tells me I'm into something good. Oh yeah, something. Something tells me I'm into something good. Something good. Something.
Herman's Hermits there, and I'm into Something Good, song written by Carole King and Jerry Goffin, who also wrote this song for Little Eva.
Everybody's doing a brand new dance now. Come on, baby, do the locomotion. I know you get to like it if you give it a chance now. Come on, baby, do the locomotion. My little baby sister can do it with me. It's easier than learning your ABC. So come on,
kiss the goon, but I can shake a chicken in the middle of the room. Let's have a party. Let's have a party. We're sending to the store. Let's buy some more. Let's have a party tonight. I never kissed a bear, I never kissed a goon, but I can shake a chicken in the middle of the room. Let's have a party. Let's have a party. We're sending to the store. Let's buy some more. Let's have a party tonight. Honky Tonky Joe is knocking at the door. Bring him in and fill him up and set him on the floor. Let's have a party. Let's have a party. We're sending to the store. Let's buy some more. Let's have a party tonight. The meat is on the stove. The breads are getting hot. Everybody run, he got the possum in the pot. Let's have a party. Let's have a party. We're sending to the store. Let's buy some more. Let's have a party tonight. Let's have a party tonight. Let's have a party tonight. They're gonna have
Wanda Jackson there. Let's have a party, bringing to a close this party and bringing to a close this edition of the 60s Nostalgia Show, which has been kindly sponsored by Cotter and Stevens down in Martinborough. And the program was first broadcast all over the wonderful Wairarapa on Arrow FM 92.7.